But while a great many people see you as heroes, there are some who would prefer the word vigilantes.
And what word would you use, Mr. Secretary?
How about dangerous?
Wait, really? We're still doing this? Oh, it's not too late for me. Oh, okay, well, I'll get on board. One marvelous scene. Of all the Marvel movies, I really like the cosmic space stuff. But among the more grounded movies, Civil War is easily my favorite. And only in the Marvel Universe can this be considered grounded. This scene, the Sokovia Accords, followed with We Have to Be Put in Check, because that's really the same scene. This really highlights what Civil War is all about. And there's just everything about it. The acting in this is so down to earth and realistic.
He wanted to make a difference, I suppose. I mean, we won't know because we dropped a building on him while we were kicking ass.
They seem angry and resigned, distracted, focused. All the things that you would have in a group debate where there's no easy answer. And that is the theme of this movie. There is no easy answer. Just listen to these points.
So let's say we agree to this thing. How long is it going to be before they LoJack us like a bunch of common criminals?
117 countries want to sign this. 117, Sam, and you're just like, no, it's cool.
Our very strength invites challenge. Challenge incites conflict. And conflict breeds catastrophe.
If we can't accept limitations, we're boundaryless, we're no better than the bad guys.
You said we're giving up. We are for not taking responsibility for our actions. This document just shifts the blame.
Sorry, Steve, that is dangerously arrogant.
The safest hands are still our own.
If we don't do this now, it's going to be done to us later.
Again, nothing said here is incorrect or wrong. And of course, knowing the history of these characters makes you see a lot of what's going on here. Tony, more than anything, is reeling from the guilt of his past mistakes, seeing all these things laid at his feet, and he just doesn't want to be blamed for these things anymore. And he can't blame him for that. Steve has figured out that those with the reins of power over him don't necessarily deserve those reins of power. And if you need that fact laid out, who is the one representing the UN in this scene? For those of you not fully familiar with the more forgotten elements of the MCU, this is General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross from The Incredible Hulk.
As far as I'm concerned, that man's whole body is property of the U.S. Army.
This guy.
Yeah, if I could take what I know now, put it in the body I had 10 years ago, that would be someone I wouldn't want to fight.
I could probably arrange something like that. Tell me, Captain, do you know where Thor and Banner are right now? If I misplaced a couple of 30 megaton nukes, you can bet there'd be consequences.
You didn't just lose one, you created one, you hypocritical son. Okay, let's not dwell on that. Because what makes this scene brilliant is that Ross is representing the government they'll have to submit to. And by his very presence there, he's showing its corruption. Because he does not deserve this.
One of yours?
Oh my God. What have you done?
He put people in harm's way and destroyed lives, and he did not have to pay the price for it. He did not have to answer to any higher authorities, but he wants these heroes to do just that. And all of it unspoken, all of it unstated, and in fact, a reward for you for already knowing the story, because if you don't know The Incredible Hulk, you would just think this is William Hurt in a guest role. One of the brilliant unspoken elements of this movie is how the characters keep going against their own arguments, showing the complexity. Tony is in complete support of these Accords, and yet what happens the first time he wants to go somewhere the Accords won't let him? Goes under the radar. Vision speaks about the danger of chaos that their power brings, only to be the most powerful Avenger who brings the most chaos into the Battle of Germany by taking down one of their own. I don't know if it counts going into a whole nother movie, but Rhodes, who is absolutely the most gung-ho for trust the UN, they know what they're talking about, is the one who will end up defying orders years later in Infinity War.
Arrest them.
All over it. That's a court-martial.
Again, I don't know if you can really count that, it's not in this movie, but it is part of the man's journey. Even Steve, as noble as he is, speaks of the importance of holding on to their power and not letting things go, only to walk away from this debate at the end because he has just lost someone very dear to him. Which will lead to another scene that's already been covered and is amazing in its own right, but not what we're talking about here. Now make no mistake, in this movie we're supposed to side with Captain America, not the least of which because he's the title character of this movie, but the presence of Ross, the fact that Tony is going against his own accords, the fact that Tony is clearly doing this for his own motivations and not the motivations he's clearly saying, tell us all that as much sense as what they're saying makes, these guys are in the wrong, Captain's side is in the right. Of course, you are free to make your own choice on that, and there are those who do support Iron Man's argument.
I'm sorry, did I just mishear you, or did you agree with me?
Oh, I want to take it back.
No, you can't retract it.
The strength of this scene is what's not being said, and I think that's what Marvel does very well, is there's a lot of unspoken things that tie back to the past, things that foreshadow the future. There's all sorts of brilliant unspoken things in this scene, which is probably the most brilliant unspoken scene in all of a brilliant series of movies. Just one more in a long series of one Marvelous scenes.